Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to look at chess concepts for beginners. This is my 800 elo game that I lost. I just spoiled it out just the way so that you can learn with me, learn with us how I failed at winning this. The opponent starts with e4, e5. Yes, pawn is in the center. Now c3 is going for d4. It's closely similar to bishop c4 and knight f3, which is the Italian. So let's see. But queen b3 now. Queen b3 is just, yeah, after knight f6, he's going for bishop c4. He's going for this trick. And actually, you have to play queen e7 here to guard it, but maybe others don't really notice it. But I play knight a5 here after a minute of think. Knight a5 is one move, because after bishop f7, the queen is still hanging, the bishop is still hanging. But there is queen b4 check. Lines get tricky here, because you have to play c5 here. Why do you have to play c5? Because now the queen and the bishop are still hanging, and when he takes the knight, you take the queen. So knight is defended. Knight is defended after that move. If queen takes, there is king takes, and you win a piece for 2 pawns, which I think is nice, but then you have to protect your king on g8 then. But I don't find it. I take because I thought 11 seconds. Okay, that's fine. I don't fault him for that. Fault my past me. D5, put 2 pawns in the center when you can. And I like that I don't trade queens because when you're down a pawn, you better not trade queens here. You trade queens here, yes, you have perhaps more development, but there is no chance for you to turn this around that easily. Because look at this. His king is still in the center. After knight takes, he plays c4, which is already very bad move. Knight at 4 is simply winning because of you can go for checks. This is a fork, by the way. Knights can go to forks. This is now a threat to stop that. He can play queen c3. He can go, yeah, queen c3, but then there's knight takes g2, or yeah, still knight d3, and you get into a fork. Yeah, the king is very open, so, but I play b6, simply already blundering. Just move the knight. Just move the knight. But I play b6. I don't think where the queen is gonna go. I was looking at there. Oh, the queen is almost trapped, but there's a pawn there, and I lose the piece. This is +4 already, but it doesn't really mean much right now because white is still catching up in development. Bishop g4, knight g5 check. Now, you could say that king should be active in the endgame, but after king g6, I don't see prospects for black to get the king active because there is now, for example, h4, and later on the king could be a weakness here. So I would say this is right now a middle game, not an end game. Actually a middle game because there are 3 pieces on the board for white and 2 for black, and the rooks are also major pieces on the board. So go there. He attacks now. Something's happened here. He's trying to simplify by giving up a pawn, but that gives actually more chances for black. Let's see now. Now what should they do here? Yeah, white is still catching up with the development. You should know here that white's next move is to move the bishop and castle perhaps long. So what do? You play rook d8 to attack this pawn here, right? Yes, rook d8. Now king e2 here is the best, or knight e4 to counterattack the bishop, I guess, right? But knight b5 happens. It attacks 2 pawns at the same time. You can go take this because who cares? The knight is going to do damage all by itself, but what is the damage after knight takes? Because the knight could get trapped all by itself. I instead play c6. Um, I don't really like that because yes, I calculated knight takes a7 that the knight could get trapped after something like rook d7, rook d7, knight c8, rook c7. and the knight is lost. So, but there is knight c7. Yeah, it doesn't fall for it. Very good for an 800. Rook e7. Yes, the knight is almost trapped here. You had to play. You had to just go. It's tough to see this move actually. If you go rook e to d6, there is now. Even I don't see it, but the knight can get out. But you're still attacking here, which is very nice. Actually, it's also a good move because there is bishop g5 sorts of stuff, rook moves. But if you go rook e7 here, there is bishop g5, and yeah, you sadly lose one of the rooks, which is why you had to go rook g6. But yeah, who sees that, right? Here, I give a check. A check is good, hoping for bishop d2 so that there is no skewer. So after king moves, there is now rook takes d3 with check. He went into a check. But sadly there is king e2. Ah, now we can move this rook and protect the rook at the same time. Very good. Something went wrong for white here, right? But why I lost this game? Because I played rook d2 check. Hanging both rooks again, but this one with the check. Takes. I had I hung everything. I hung an entire piece. And one rook against two rooks at this level is completely winning. Two rooks. Because look, he could he should already trade off. He shouldn't trade. He should already trade. But he doesn't. But it's all winning nevertheless. Because there is no passed pawn for black. I go for this type of trades. Yeah, we get some passed pawns, but f4, a really nice move. A really nice move. You can go king c2. Yeah, I'm gonna skip forward all this, all this. I almost make a pawn here. I almost make a queen, but yeah, all is lost. So what was wrong in this game? I mean, not that many concepts. A lot of tactics here. A lot of tactics here. I did go two pawns in the center to open up some pieces, and yeah, b6 was one of the wrong moves. So you need to look at what the queen sees. There is only one piece out. There is only a queen out. So you must see after b6, what is the queen gonna do? You cannot do that. You just have to move the knight here. You just have to move the knight here. Look at checks, captures, attacks. If I played b6, I did not really look at all of these moves. So that's what you should do actively. And another tactical mistake happened right after rook to e7, basically. Yeah, already that. But, I mean, rook d2 is inexcusable. I mean, the bishops could see their... Yeah, that's how we get better, but not like this. I'm going to show another game, since this was so short. This one is e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, of Vienna. Now, do I play f4? No. I go for a different type, d4, and I say in a lot of my videos, put two pawns in the center when you can. But this one is wrong. Why? Because if you allow your opponent to develop with tempo, then he's just fine. He has two knights out, you have a knight and a queen out. Now why is the queen out? There could be many more moves that get tempo from the queen. But yeah, this one, d6, knight g4, a one move threat, kind of a dopamine move, doing nothing. Queen d2 goes back. Now the queen is safely in a nice place because after bishop e2 long castles, the queen is right where it needs to be. But yeah, bishop g7. Now the game plan here, what should you calculate here? What should you calculate here? What are the moves that you should play here? I mean, you have castles on your radar, you have knight f3, you have h3, f3, bishop c4. Look at all these. And after you have these moves on your radar, then you calculate what your opponent plays. What could their scopes would be? What could their scopes be? Bishop e2, just putting pressure on knight, castles. Now there, when you look at castles, you must look at this in your head and then your opponent's moves, because when you castle, you run into a fork. You don't want that. You don't want that. You must look at all the scopes everywhere. There could be rook e8. There could be b6 bishop. What else? What you don't want to do is play knight d5 and completely hang the bishop. That's also inexcusable. If you want to move the knight, then you need to protect your bishop. Get rid of this bishop. And that will not be a good trade as well. So this happens. Yeah, rook d1. And now black must relax, bring the bishop back. But no, he plays queen f6, plundering the queen. Well, he thought for 24 seconds, okay. He thought for 22 seconds, maybe perhaps he looked at many moves, but he decided to play this here after maybe 3 seconds, because if you play here, if you plan to play here, then you must look at your opponent's possible moves. Possible moves. If this looks there, there are not many moves that go there or there, but knight f6 there, yeah. Now, I'm still winning here. Knight f3. Just trade off pieces. Now I still trade off pieces, although there is one sneaky idea here, which is f3, and the knight is trapped. For example, bishop h3 takes. You take this one, not this one. Like this, yeah. So you could trap a piece, but I take this one. Now I'm still winning here. You're up a, you're up a queen for two bishops. Queen for two bishops. Although the bishops are very tricky. Queen c3, going for this pawn. I go for it. I trade rooks. Bishop d8. Ooh, what's this? Wait, what's this? Why did he not take with the rook, right? Why did he not take with the rook? Now I take this bishop, right? Yeah, that's the winning. No, you have to be careful at every move possible, because black's only idea here is to win with tricks, with tactics. And the tactic after bishop d8 is that you cannot take this bishop, because you always have to look for checks, captures, attacks. I take the bishop, and I lose the queen. Very sad. Rest in peace to all the boys out there who were so happy to find a free bishop, to find out that it's not free. And now a full bishop up is all that also 800s need to win the game. They trade off some pawns, a little bit of weaknesses here. Actually, it's not so winning maybe anymore. After rook d7, there is bishop passive, attack pawns. Yeah, there is this actually, but rook e7. Let's see. But basically, it's very tough to win. You have to activate the rook on the second rank and not trade off rooks. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you trading off? The concept here is that rook against bishop and a rook is a draw. It's basically a draw. Anything could happen, but I think you trade rooks, and then a bishop against the lone king is a draw. So you have to put rooks on the board, because what happens here is that black is going to have a bishop and a pawn left on the board, I guess, because bishop is going to hunt down pawns, and he's going to promote the queen. That's it. You defend your pawn, but you're running out of moves. You are running out of moves. There's a check. King takes pawns because there was a check. There are basically no moves. You try to go for a pawn, but there's a pawn promotion with check, and he stops the pawn. And some moves later, not a clean conversion, but yeah. Yeah, this was another kind of tactical game because we lost this because of two mistakes. The opening was actually fine, but knight d5 not but knight d5 not visualizing the bishop's scopes takes, and not addressing the knight. The knight here is the only basically active piece that is on your side of the board, and you blunder the queen. Here, basically, what happened here was that I was winning, and then there were tricks. There were tricks. If you just take the pawn and play it safe, just go push pawns, trade, make threats, maybe put the king on h1 as well, then you win the game. You must not be too greedy, you must always be careful here. Look at opponent's moves, because there could always be a check around the corner. There could always be a reason why they take with the bishop. Yeah, you have to believe sometimes that your opponents are very smart, very cheeky, because you are not blundering. You are not blundering because you want to. You're not blundering because you want to lose. You just get excited and distracted and lose connection between your squares. Lose connection between the absent. You lose connection and become absent-minded. But yeah, this was sadly the tactic that you also need to practice in your puzzles to see your opponent's moves. And don't trade off rooks. Don't trade off rooks. Instead, get active and not there, but maybe get active and create problems. But yeah, this was quite a easy end for black because a bishop is a piece and it is a dangerous piece at the endgame. So if you like this video, if you found anything useful here, I thank you. You're a legend for watching this into the end. And I will do some more. So see ya.